The site of the World Trade Center on a Monday afternoon in September in New York City. The work effort goes on. They still call it a rescue effort, and hopefully that is correct, but it has been a long time now. It's been, I believe, since Wednesday that anyone has been pulled out alive. It is not easy work down there. CNN's Michael Oku has been down there today for us and joins us now on just how difficult it has become. Michael, good afternoon.
You might see over my shoulder that Governor George Pataki of New York and, of course, the Mayor Rudolph Giuliani have been giving a press conference talking about the spirit, the great spirit that the rescue workers have as they toil through the rubble and the ash of the World Trade Center. I should tell you that according to FEMA, you correctly say it, that they are still calling this a rescue mission and that it will continue as long as it takes. They were very, very keen at a press conference this morning to make sure that everybody knew that they still consider it to be a rescue mission and not a recovery mission. And at some point in the future, they will let us know when they make that shift officially. Now, the first estimates of how long it will take to actually take all the debris out of that site are beginning to come in. According to FEMA, it will take them months. And you can imagine, Aaron, given the amount of debris down there, you can't expect them to be any more specific than that. The EPA is also here. It may be a very clear day in front of me, but they are here looking at the air quality. They believe that they have decontamination units on site, and they believe that some of the air, even though that many of the authorities here believe that asbestos levels are okay, that there is enough soot and other material in the air that may be injurious to some of the rescue workers and, frankly, some of the media and other residents here at the site. They also are looking into the possibility that one of the buildings close to the crash site had contained a great level of freon. So we'll be looking at that development as the day continues. As you can see behind me, the cloud of smoke continues to billow, not quite as thick as it was last week, but still just as persistent, and at times reaching a degree of thickness that, that belies the fact that this occurred almost a week ago at this point. The New York City Fire Commissioner has told us that, in fact, there are fires still raging deep within the rubble. And that they can't, in fact, put out those fires until they remove some of the debris from around it. So they are working around the fires, but you can imagine that at some sites very close in that rubble that the heat is very, very intense. And that makes, of course, the steel and some of the iron fragments that are strewn and littered throughout that site very hot and sometimes very dangerous to work on. Rescue workers continue to work 24-hour shifts here. They're hopeful that there are air pockets or voids where some of the victims might have survived. There is a mall right between where the World Trade Center was, and they're hoping that some of the victims might be in some area within that mall and in other what they're calling voids. Just a moment ago, a team of K-9 units, a K-9 unit team came uptown here and told us that they are now again beginning to find bodies. The fact that they're finding victims might be hopeful that at least they're getting to areas where there were people and hopefully then survivors. I should also tell you that, of course, it has been slow going, and some of the rescue workers here are hanging in onto every shred of hope that they will find something. One of them told us this morning that they had a glimmer of hope when they went to an area that was completely incinerated but for a single Bible. Aaron?
Michael, thanks. I'm looking at these aerials as you were talking. I was on that helicopter flight yesterday morning. We flew over the site. I must say, it takes your breath away. It is broader than you imagine. It is uglier than you can believe. And both in mind and in heart, it takes your breath away. If we look behind us, I'm sorry, go ahead, Michael.
Well, it's interesting you say it takes your breath away. It quite literally, it's a tangible thing, because a couple days ago, not so much today, a little bit earlier this morning, you could still taste, if I can say that, some of what's going on here, because the air was laden with some of the debris, and it was very difficult to avoid that. So when you say it takes your breath away, that's very apropos.
Thank you, Michael, thank you. And you can sort of file this in. It probably doesn't mean a whole lot, but it's worth noting, Department. I think it's the first time that I've looked back there since Tuesday morning, and you could actually see the smoke is cleared enough so that you can actually see the buildings behind where the Trade Center was. Don't see them that clearly, but clearly there is less smoke out there, a sign that the work is getting done. Judy?
Aaron, we just listened to Michael Oku saying that authorities insist on characterizing what they're doing still as a rescue mission. They're not calling it a recovery. That word rescue must be so important to so many families and loved ones. Now we know New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani acknowledging some bodies may never be found, but for those